how's Elden Ring treating you in your second time around as you prepare for the shadow of the Erdtree? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay.
Shadow of the Erdtree. Big expansion. Everybody's talking about it. I'm not ready yet. So,
Yeah.
basically, I loaded up my old save, which is in New Game Plus, and it was a big thing with me because I've always heard that if you play New Game Plus on Souls games, like, it gets harder,
Yeah.
basically. But while true, I was doing some research into it, and at least for the first couple New Game Pluses, it sounds like it's really kind of negligible, like the,
Mm.
difficulty spike. And so that kind of put my worries at ease about going into the DLC on New Game Plus, because I was going back and forth on whether to do that or start over from scratch and just play the whole
Sure,
game
sure.
again. But that I really didn't want to do, honestly, in my heart of hearts. I was like, I put 100 hours into this game before. Like, I don't want to,
Go through that
do it
again.
again.
Yeah, yeah,
So basically, I've hopped back into my New Game Plus. I've sort of speed ran it whenever I was in New Game Plus because I was trying to go for the different endings for the Platinum Trophy.
yeah.
And so like I have like this path carved through the map of like where I went in New Game Plus, and
Sure,
there's all
sure.
these pockets around of like bonus optional content that I did on my first playthrough but didn't do in the new game. So I'm kind
Mm.
of going around to these pockets and kind of re-establishing my flow with the game and kind of, reacclimating myself to the controls because obviously
Sure,
it's
sure.
it's a Souls like you kind of got to get into a certain mode when you're playing them.
Yeah, yeah.
So far it's been pretty easy. I've been in the like early game areas though. Like I
Hmm.
haven't really upgraded to a lot of the later game stuff, but with my super high level character and, tons of upgraded gear, I'm kind of just going through the motions with it early on. But I mean, the trip back so far has been really nice. I mean, this game, I think I gave it a 9. I haven't looked up my review for it
Sure.
when I reviewed it, but
Yeah, yeah.
this is one of those games of a generation, right? And everybody will, most people will say that. And so coming back to it, it's just like, man, the art style in this game is amazing. The atmosphere in this game is amazing.
Yeah.
The the combat, like compared to other Souls games and stuff, like you just kind of get into this dance with enemies, and you have different weapon arts where like if you're block like basically my character has like a shield in one hand and a sword in the other. And
Mm.
so like I can block a hit with the shield, and then if you hit the right trigger right after that, you'll do like a little, follow-up riposte kind of attack.
Oh,
And
okay.
it just gets so satisfying when you get into that flow of like, block and riposte, or like if you do it too early, like you won't interrupt an enemy, so they'll catch you, with your pants
Yeah.
down and beat you down. So getting back into all of that is just, really nice. And it's nice not having the the overwhelming mountain in front of you of having to replay the entire game and like,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
through every area with a fine-tooth comb trying to pick up upgrade materials and all that.
So
So,
how long are you playing the new game plus of it all until you feel like you're like are you following a build that kind of gets you in the right right place? Because I've seen some of those going around.
so when I loaded up the save, because I haven't played basically since I beat the game, which would have been like a month or two after it came out,
Yeah.
um, I was reminded because I had two katanas basically was what my character was holding, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a build I used to fight Melania, which
Uh
was like the
yeah.
hard boss and everything. And I don't think I ever reset from that build, so that's kind of the build that I'm just continuing to use. Um, I don't have like a specific build that I'm gonna try to go into the DLC with because they've added like a ton of new weapons and new play styles. So like I kind of want to play around with those
Sure.
instead of just sticking to what I spent 100 hours using, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's
but
also the fun of returning to it is that you can maybe use different builds and see what kind of works. Um,
mhm.
I will say that I've I don't know if I'm like feeling scared for you, but I've seen a few people play Elden Ring. Notably, do you know who Brandon Sanderson is?
I know of him. He's the writer, right?
Yes, yeah. For those of you who don't know, he's the author of many books, most popularly the or the Mistborn series and the Way of Kings. And oddly enough, on release day, he was streaming the DLC. And by the way, absolute like, I mean, he's good. I mean, way better than me. So it's like he was talking about the game, and he's like, "Yeah, I like to like if I'm not like like learning all the move sets of the bosses, then I'm not really connecting with the game." And I'm like, "God, I just want to beat their ass. I don't really care about like understanding their move sets." So a totally different play style there, but. Yeah, Nick, I hope that whenever we get to that episode when we're talking about Shadow of the Erdtree, I hope we're not oh man, it took me it took me 20 hours to beat or whatever. What did Kai Cenat beat it in like 60 hours? I think he just did the final boss for 60 hours or something.
Yeah, I basically to get to the DLC, as is FromSoft tradition, you do need to be at a certain point in the game and beat certain bosses.
It
And
starts with an
so
M, right?
on
It's like the more
Moog is the
Moog.
main one. But I have heard from other people that you also have to do Star Scourge Radahn, which is one of the main story bosses. Um, I have that one finished, but I don't have Moog beaten in the New Game Plus. So I will need to at least play to that point.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
long that'll take me, I honestly don't remember. Because, like, where you fight Moog is in, like, a hidden area attached to a hidden area. So it's like I need to
Sure.
remember how to even get there in the first place to even attempt those challenges. But I'm probably going to be playing for, like, if I had to guess, maybe, like, 10 hours or so, just doing side stuff. Like, I
And this is just,
theoretically,
again,
like, if I have the
this is
bosses
just
done.
preparing for the DLC, which I've heard that
Mhm.
I mean, look, we're going to talk about more about the DLC, when Nick gets to it. So we're not going to talk too much about it now. So obviously, subscribe, stay tuned, all that stuff. But the yeah, I've heard that there's that the final boss of the DLC is the hardest boss in Elden Ring. Does that scare you going in as like? I mean, I've heard Melania's a bitch. First of all, how long did it take you to beat Melania? Or yeah, that's her name.
She was
Something like
definitely the hardest one for the base game. It didn't take me a crazy long time because I was using like spirit ashes and summoning,
that?
and
Oh, sure, sure, sure.
depending on the people that you ask, the hardcore people that
didn't
like
beat it
won't
right.
touch any of that, right? Yeah, they'll say I didn't beat it, but like
Dude, I
I played
I'm
enough of
glad
these games
that
where
exists.
I'm just like I just want to have it like done and get the experience. I don't need to prove anything.
Yeah, no,
with
that was me
beating
with
these
Lies of P. I
bosses.
know it's a significantly, probably a much easier game comparatively to Elden Ring, but playing through Lies of P, I was doing the same thing. I had the Star something. Stardust or something. It's been a while. It's been a few months since I played the game, but like, yeah, you can essentially those are like summons, so you can get like an NPC to help you. Well, are summons NPCs or like real players? I know there are real players that
So
can invade.
there's two different things. There's the Ashes of War, which those are like NPC summons, and then
Okay.
you do have like the ability in game to summon a real player, and they
Mm.
can help you.
Yeah. No.
Um,
I the I did the same thing in Lies of P, and I'm not ashamed of it. But one thing I'd love to see is a Souls-like game that's like co-op. That's not like so. For example, right? I was looking at the Demon Souls. Have you played Demon Souls, the remake?
mhm.
So apparently, there's co-op in that game, and so I was like, oh, maybe I'll give it a go. I'll look into it, and then, but it turns out like the only way to really do the DLC, unless I'm wrong, from what I read online, you have like, one person has to beat the boss, and then they collect something from the boss that then they can use to like go to another player's world and help them with that boss.
Yes,
Or I guess kill them. I guess if you wanted to. I'm not
the
sure.
FromSoft co-op system is draconian in design
Yeah.
for the most part. Elden Ring is probably the easiest of all of them. They've kind of gotten better at that
Sure,
as
sure.
time has gone on and like streamlining that. But even in Elden Ring, you still need like a specific item and you need to put your summon sign down in like a specific area for people to be able to summon you in. It's not just like party up with your friend and
Just
explore the
explore the
world.
world. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was hoping for. Maybe next time. Maybe Elden Ring 2.
Yeah.
Or Eldest Ring. I don't know. I don't know what the I don't know what the
Elden
sequel.
Rings.
Yeah, Elden Rings. All right.
But yeah, just to
Go
real
ahead.
quick wrap it up, put a
Yes. Yeah.
bow on it. Uh, I could theoretically do the DLC right now if I was ready. Like I feel comfortable enough with that, but I just want to really sink back into the game before committing to that. But yeah, having a lot of fun and really looking forward to the DLC. And just to answer your one question about the if it scares me that the DLC
Yes.
boss
Yeah.
is like the hardest, that's kind of par for the course. Bloodborne's DLC, the boss in that I remember was like extremely hard too. So like, I think as far as all of the Souls games that I've played have gone, like Elden Ring, I would say was on the easier side for me.
Oh
So like,
shit.
while I'm honestly preparing myself to have hard bosses, because like everybody seems to agree, it's like yeah, these are definitely a notch up above the base game stuff. Like, I don't think it's gonna be too bad. At least I hope not.